MotorWeek is made possible by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper and TireRack.com.
Well, all of our road test subjects, including this VW Fox, are built in developing countries where the labor rate is low. The Festiva and the Le Mans are both built in Korea, but there are other countries with the same low labor rate advantage. Brazil, for example. And as it happens, Volkswagen has a facility there, a sort of little Wolfsburg, where it builds cars for the markets of South America. Well, one model called the Voyage was also found to be just right for the North American bargain car market. So VW spiffed it up, renamed it the Fox, and now it's here. The first inexpensive VW since the Beetle. But does the Fox have the charm that made the Beetle so popular?
Not if you're judging the Brazilian VW Fox by its quantum on a hunger strike looks. It's not that the car is homely, it's just not terribly unique. But the Fox has some other charming qualities. Take its price. $5,690 for the base two-door Fox, $6,490 for the GL four-door, and $7,790 for our air-conditioned, stereo-equipped GL test car. Not only is the price right, but the Fox GL has a lot of standard features, including a remote control right side mirror, rear window defogger, intermittent wipers, and tachometer. The door panels and the seats are covered in an attractive cloth, not vinyl, and offer adequate all-round support for most drivers. On the dash, things look like they do in other Volkswagens, but the pod-mounted flip switches are flimsy, and it's hard to read their markings. They face the doors, not the driver. We also think there are too many different textures and colors of plastic on the dash, but dash storage is good, and there are deep door pockets. And the gauges, as on every German Volkswagen, are sensible white on black. The four-door has a tachometer, small fuel and water temperature readouts, plus a digital clock. All other controls are within easy reach. The heat switches are very straightforward, but old-fashioned. You have to close off dash vents to get full air to the defroster or floor. The only other problem is a radio position that leaves the station readout out of driver's sight. At the rear, the doorways are narrow, but there's plenty of room for two adults. Those 6-footers will find headroom just adequate. There are standard shoulder belts. The Fox's trunk looks small and ill-shaped, but except for a high sill, it swallowed our test luggage without a fuss. Unfortunately, there's no folding rear seat to let you expand the luggage area. For those who need to tote things, a two-door GL wagon version of the Fox should be out later this summer, and its rear seat does fold. But the Fox has some other ways of making up for its shortcomings. It has the largest engine in its class, the same 1.8-liter four-cylinder that goes in Golfs and Jettas. It turns out 81 horsepower and 91 pound-feet of torque. Since it's mounted in the north-south position, there's plenty of room for maintenance. The Fox also has a 2-year unlimited mileage warranty that covers everything but tires. And the Fox will rack up miles and quarter miles at a pretty brisk pace. 18.1 seconds for our car, and with a finishing speed of 75. Not bad. 0 to 60 takes only 11.1 seconds. The Fox gets a 4-speed manual transmission. There's no automatic, but a 5-speed is planned. Fourth here is an overdrive gear, and the shifter action is very short and smooth. There's a long gap between the first and second gear ratios, but the engine has enough power to overcome it in all but standing starts from the steepest hills. On twisty roads, the Fox is very much at home. The non-power assisted steering is crisp and relatively quick. Front-end plow is moderate. The funny thing is, the Fox doesn't look like it handles well. There's a lot of body roll, and the Fox takes to a slalom pylon like a dog to a fire hydrant, a Volkswagen habit. The car isn't the least bit embarrassed by this indiscretion, though, and it won't embarrass its driver either. And behind the wheel, you barely feel the car's antics, and the rear end obediently trails the front, even if only on one wheel. But all 4 wheels stay on the ground under braking, and the Fox does an excellent job of it. Our car's average distance in 6 stops was a short 110 feet. It stops straight every time with a good solid feel from the brake pedal. Overall, solid feel is one of the things that characterizes the Fox. At speed, it gives you the same gyroscopic stability you find in more expensive German cars. It's also fairly quiet, generating 69 decibels at 55. But at the same time, the Fox is a great car for the city. It has a tiny 32-foot turning circle and good fuel economy. It's EPA rated at 26 city, 30 highway. We manage 32 and 100 miles of average driving. But it's price that tops our list of hits, along with the Fox's wealth of standard features. We are also impressed by the car's power and its brakes. Best of all, the Fox inspires confidence on the highway with its big car feel and stability. But it misses the mark with no fold-down rear seat for the 2- and 4-door sedans. We also dislike the mishmash of plastics used on the dash and the way they were assembled. In our safety check, the Fox passes with standard radial tires, halogen headlamps, 5-mile-per-hour bumpers, and rear shoulder belts. But those are only on the 4-door GL. All models fail to have front passive restraints. A short time back, we picked the Fox as best bargain car in our annual Driver's Choice Awards. After reviewing the Fox again and its new competitors, we'd make the same choice today, thanks to the Fox's combination of small and big car virtues, and thanks to its bargain price. So while it lacks the fresh styling of some competitors, and it's not as charming as the Beetle, it's exactly what it should be: an inexpensive, practical, solid Volkswagen. And that's enough for the Fox to generate a cult following all its own.